Well, now, welcome everyone to the deep dive. We're sure glad y'all pulled up a chair today. We're about to embark on, well, a truly fascinating journey, I reckon. We're digging deep into a collection of writings, often called the science of mind. Yeah, one of our listeners, a curious soul from right here in Overton County, sent us this whole stack of notes and articles, asked us to kind of map it out.
That's right. And our job today, it ain't really to tell y'all what to believe. Not at all. We're just here to lay out what these sources describe. You know, how the universe seems to work according to them, how our own minds fit in, and maybe, just maybe, how we might get through some of life's stickier situations using these ideas. We'll be looking into some deep truths about reality, the real power of our thoughts, and even what might come after this earthly journey.
And goodness, it's quite a spread of ideas we've got here. Excerpts covering everything from the problem of evil, that's a big one, to mental healing and even psychic phenomena. It's a real, well, a cornucopia of thought, isn't it?
It surely is.
So let's go on ahead and start unpacking this together. Okay,
Yeah.
so first off, these sources, they start us thinking about a single fundamental reality, something behind absolutely everything. They suggest it's what some folks might call God or spirit, maybe universal mind, or even just the thing itself, described as an absolute intelligence, and it's omniscient, all-knowing, and omnipresent, meaning it's just everywhere, all the time.
Right. It's not just some idea floating around. It's presented as the invisible ultimate power,
Yeah.
where everything comes from.
Exactly, the very source.
And what's really striking, is how this echoes stuff wise folks have said for ages. Thinkers way back, some who use that powerful phrase, I am that I am, and philosophers down through history, they kind of landed on a similar idea. One ultimate reality.
The source.
Yeah. It's the changeless thing that all the change happens in. And it's self-existent, doesn't need anything else to be. And this intelligence, this first principle, it ain't static. It's active. It shows up everywhere in like the tiniest atom in the human brain thinking thoughts.
Wow. From the smallest particle to us.
It's the bedrock of everything, constantly expressed in itself.
So this great intelligence God, spirit, whatever name feels right, it shows up in three ways. That's what these writings say. They call it the triune nature of being. First, there's spirit. That's the self-knowing part. The spark, the idea.
The consciousness.
Yeah.
The impulse to create. Yes.
Okay. Then second, there's law. That's how it works. The mechanism, sometimes called soul or universal subjectivity.
Right. The intelligence that carries out the plan, you could say.
Yeah.
Dependable. Unfailing.
And third is body. That's the result. The thing you can see or touch, the manifestation.
Exactly. The outcome.
Huh. Like electricity, maybe?
Yeah.
You've got the electricity itself, then the wires and rules it follows.
The physics of it.
And then, bam, the light comes on in your lamp right there in Livingston.
That's a fine way to picture it. And they say, this trinity, this pattern of three, it runs through all of nature. And importantly, it's right here inside us, too.
Inside each of us.
We're like a little universe reflecting that same pattern. Spirit, law, and body, or manifestation. And if you connect that to our own lives, well, a really core idea they keep coming back to is this. Man never creates. He discovers and uses.
Okay, unpack that a little. It sounds like it's downplaying what we do.
Well, not exactly downplaying ingenuity, but maybe shifting how we see it. We don't make the law of gravity, do we? Or electricity.
No, of course not. Scientists figure it out.
They discover it. It was already there,
Right.
timeless, perfect. And then we learn how to work with it, how to align with it. And they're saying it's the same for these spiritual laws, too, just like learning how to plant corn in that good Overton County soil to get a good harvest. You work with the ground, with the seasons.
You cooperate with nature.
Exactly. We don't make life happen, or happiness, or health.
Right.
But we can learn to use these deeper principles, these laws, to bring forth more harmony, more good, by working with how the universe is already set up.
That makes a lot of sense. And it leads right into another big idea, doesn't it? This impersonal law.
Oh, yeah. That's crucial.
These writings really stress that this universal law of mind, it works impartially, completely fair.
Like the sun shining down.
Just like the sun shining on everyone here in Livingston, good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't pick and choose, doesn't have favorites. It's not a person you can bargain with.
No. So when good things happen, when folks feel their prayers are answered, the sources say it's not God suddenly deciding to bend the rules for one person. It's more like that person managed to align themselves better with the law. They understood how it works, maybe even subconsciously.
So it's about knowing the how of it all, the mechanics. not trying to sway a divine personality.
That's the perspective they offer, yes. It's about understanding and applying the principle.
Now, that might make you sit back and think, well, hold on. Does this mean I'm responsible for, well, for everything in my situation?
And the sources, they don't really shy away from that. They'd say, yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, largely so. But it's not about blame, you see. It's about understanding cause and effect. The law responds to your thought, your belief, your deep down conviction. That's the idea. And that understanding, it kind of helps frame how they tackle the problem of evil, which, let's be honest, is a tough one for everybody.
It sure is. How do they explain it?
Well, it's different. They don't see evil as some separate power out there fighting against God. No devil figure, really.
Okay.
Instead, they often define it as a misuse of the law of freedom. Like,
Okay.
we have this freedom to think, to choose, and sometimes we misuse that power. We impress the wrong ideas onto that creative medium.
Oh, maybe. Maybe just ignorance of the law.
Or ignorance, yes.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they put it differently, like an experience necessary to self-unfoldment, something we got to go through to grow, to learn.
So sin, in their view, isn't like breaking God's rules and making him mad.
Less like that and more like a mistake, like going contrary to divine law because you didn't understand it or had a wrong belief.
And the consequences, the punishment.
That's just the natural result, the inevitable consequence. Like, touching a hot stove, the burn isn't the stove being angry, it's just physics. It's the law working.
So evil is a belief, not an entity.
That's a key phrase they use. The problem isn't a flaw in the universe or the law. It's in our limited or mistaken thinking within that perfect system.
Okay, so if the trouble stems from our thinking, our beliefs, how do you fix it? How do you change a bad situation according to these ratings?
They offer a pretty direct method. They call it denial and affirmation.
Denial and affirmation. Right.
First step.
Turn entirely away from the condition. You got to consciously deny that the problem is the final ultimate reality.
So you don't pretend it's not there, but you refuse to accept it as permanent.
Exactly. You recognize it as just an image of thought, a temporary result, not the underlying truth. Stop feeding it your mental energy.
Okay, then what?
Then you turn to its opposite. You affirm the truth you want to see based on the perfection of spirit. Wholeness, health, abundance, peace. Whatever the opposite of the problem is. So it's not just wishful thinking like, oh, I hope this goes away.
No, it's stronger than that. It's about knowing what's false in your experience and consciously realizing, feeling, accepting what's eternally true about spirit and therefore about you.
They even bring up Jesus forgiving sins, don't they? How does that fit?
Yeah, they interpret that as something profound, not just words, but Jesus actually powerfully removing the person's inner complex of condemnation.
Like their guilt, their self-judgment.
Exactly, those deep-seated negative beliefs that were causing the outer problem. His consciousness, his words, neutralize that inner block, allowing the law to bring forth health. It's the conviction behind the words.
Yeah.
And building right on that is the whole concept of mental healing and treatment, which is, well, it's pretty central to these ideas.
How does that work, according to them?
Core idea is that sickness, it isn't really physical at its root. It's a mental thing.
A mental thing.
An image of thought or a false belief that's kind of sunk down into the subjective mind, the feeling part of us. The body, you see, is the effect. It's showing what's going on mentally.
The body is the screen, the mind is the projector.
That's one way to think about it. So a treatment, which is basically focused, conscious prayer or mental work, its whole purpose is to impress new thoughts onto that subjective mind. Thoughts of perfection, health, happiness, and prosperity to overwrite the old negative pattern.
Okay. And what about someone doing a treatment for another person, like a friend from Cookville praying for someone?
Right. The practitioner, according to these sources, isn't trying to magically change the patient's body or even directly mess with their mind. Their job is to convince themselves deeply, truly, of the patient's inherent perfection and wholeness right now, because we're all connected in that one mind.
So by changing their own consciousness about the person.
They set the impersonal law in motion to produce that result of wholeness. It's about knowing the truth for them.
But sometimes healing seems quick, and other times it takes a while. How do they explain that, the immediate versus process thing?
Good question. They see the truth itself, the power, is instantaneous. Like flicking that light switch. The potential for light is always there, instantly.
Okay.
But the manifestation, the full seeing of the healing, might take what feels like time. And that's not the law being slow. The process in healing, they say, is the mental work we have to do. The time it takes for us to fully realize the truth, to let go of the old beliefs, the fear, the doubt.
Ah, so the delay is on our end, in our own consciousness shifting.
That's how they explain it, like planting a seed right outside your house here in Overton County. The life force in that seed is instant, always there.
Right.
But the little plant still needs time to push through the soil, grow leaves, make a tomato. You gotta tend it, believe in it.
Stick with it. Like building up our community here takes time and faith.
Exactly. Consistent effort and trust in the process. And all this, really, it boils down to understanding thought force.
Thought force. Sounds powerful.
They emphasize this again and again. Thoughts are things, not just
Wow.
wisps of air. Real forces.
Literally.
That's how they present it. Every single thought we have, conscious or unconscious, makes an impression on that universal creative medium, that receptive, subjective side of spirit. And it will produce results, like planting seeds in fertile ground. Something will grow.
So what you hold in your mind consistently
Is bound to be produced in external affairs. That's a direct quote from the kind of material we're looking at.
Wow. That puts a lot of importance on what we're thinking.
It absolutely does. This is why right thinking isn't just about being positive or nice. It's presented as a scientific principle. It can literally reshape your life, dissolve problems, bring new conditions.
So learning to guide your thought.
Means learning to guide your destiny. That's the core message. It's a definite real power.
Okay, now let's shift gears a little. This next part, it delves into things maybe a bit more out there. Psychic phenomena and immortality.
Right, and they draw some interesting distinctions here, specifically between being psychic and being a mystic.
What's the difference, according to these sources?
Well, they say a psychic is generally reading human thought, picking up on the subjective stuff, people's beliefs, fears, images, collective ideas. Sometimes it involves a trance state. And because it's dealing with human thought, which can be mixed up or wrong, it's prone to illusion.
Like tuning into radio static sometimes, picking up lots of different signals.
That's a fair analogy. Lots of chatter, not always clear or accurate.
Okay, so what about a mystic?
A mystic, they say, is different. Always in a normal state of mind, fully conscious. They're intuitively perceiving truth, with a capital T. They're sensing the thought of God, the pure underlying reality, revealing eternal verities, the unchanging principles.
So tapping into the source directly, not just the human interpretation.
Exactly, sensing the fundamental unity of everything. That's why mystics from different times and places often sound so similar they're drinking from the same well, so to speak.
And related to thought having power, they talk about our mental atmosphere, right?
Right.
Like an aura.
Mm-hmm. The idea is that our constant thoughts and feelings create this energy field around us, whether we realize it or not.
And that affects things.
Oh, definitely. It influences who and what we attract or repel. Why you get a certain vibe from a person or a place instantly.
Yeah, you ever walk into a room and just feel something?
All the time.
Oh.
Or think about that old church on the square right here in Livingston. You walk in and there's just a feeling, ain't there?
There sure is. A sense of peace, maybe history.
That's the accumulated mental atmosphere, they'd say. The thoughts and feelings soaked into the place over years. And then there's the big one, immortality. How do they approach
That's a
that?
pretty bold take, actually.
What do they say?
They state it plainly. Man is inherently immortal, not something to be attained after death.
Whoa. So it's not something you get later.
Nope. It's a present state of being right now.
Huh. So death is. What then?
Just a transition to a higher sphere of life, not the end. Our consciousness, our memory, who we are essentially, it continues.
So, as they put it, we now are immortal.
That's it. Not a future prize, but part of our fundamental nature, here and now. We are eternal life expressing itself. And one last piece here. They talk about a divine urge. What's that about?
It's this idea that there's an innate push within us from spirit itself wanting to express more life, more creativity, more good through us.
Like a seed wanting to sprout.
Exactly. And when we stifle that urge, when we hold back our gifts or desires out of fear or doubt, that's when problems arise. It can create inner complexes and conflicts. And those inner knots can then show up outwardly as sickness, lack, unhappiness.
That ties back to the mental cause idea.
It does. And they connect this urge to the true meaning of love, not just romance, but
What? How do they define love?
as the desire of the soul to express itself in terms of creation through self-givingness. It's that divine urge in action, pouring itself out.
So love is creative energy.
The highest form, they say, capable of transmutation and sublimation, changing lower energies, fear, anger, resentment, into higher ones, refining us.
Lifting us up. Creating a kind of magnetism for good.
That's the idea. a wonderful magnetism that draws our good to us when we live from that place of love and self-expression.
Whew. Okay, that was a lot to unpack. So bringing it all back home, what does all this mean for us folks right here in Overton County?
Well, I reckon it means we're living in a universe that's fundamentally based on love and reliable law, not chaos, not indifference.
It means we have this divine spark inside us, this potential that's just limitless.
Because it's not ours alone. It's the infinite working through us. That's the teaching.
And it means we ain't just leaves blown about by the wind. We're not victims. We're active participants. We help shape our lives with our thoughts, our beliefs.
We get to choose what seeds we plant in that universal mind, knowing the law is faithful to bring forth a harvest. Which leads to a powerful thought to leave folks with, don't you think?
Go on.
If our consciousness, your consciousness, is the channel, the specific place where this universal mind works for you, what new things could possibly unfold? What goodness is just waiting to show up if we really started to perceive with a perfect vision?
Believing in the good, the perfect, the true with our whole hearts. Like these sources keep saying.
Yeah. What would our lives, what would Overton County, what would the world look like if we all really lived from that deep truth?
Something to truly ponder. We surely hope this deep dive gave y'all some fresh perspective, maybe a new way to look at things, and we genuinely love hearing from you. So please, if anything we talked about today sparked a question or an aha moment, or even if you disagree respectfully, leave us a comment. We read them all.
We do.
And if you found this helpful, well, we'd be grateful if you'd give us a like, maybe share it with a friend or neighbor you think might appreciate it. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next conversation.
And now, dear friends, as we close out for today, may the loving light of that indwelling spirit right there inside each and every one of us shine bright. May it light up our paths with deep peace, with vibrant health, and with abundant joy in all things. May you truly know yourselves as whole, perfect children of God, surrounded and filled by an infinite good right here, right now, whether you're in Livingston, Cookeville, or anywhere else. And may that knowing guide every step you take and every thought you think for your own good and for the good of all humanity and all of God's creation.
Amen to that. And bless your hearts, every single one of you listening out there today. Y'all come back now, you hear?